Well, hello again. I decided to go ahead, cold or no cold, and it is cold out here. God, I'm so sick of winter. Anyway, I decided to go ahead and see what it takes to put one of these Campbell Hausfeld 20-gallon air compressors together, and you know, they've made it super easy. I mean, really, really easy. It's almost all put together for us. All I have to do is take the handle, slide it into slots on the rear, and then take these two screws with the plastic heads and tighten them down on the handle. Let me show you. Alright, the handle goes in these two slots, these two loopy looking slots. One here, and the other one over there. Come on, get it lined up now. Hard to do one hand, but there we go. Now all I have to do is run the screws through there and tighten them up on the handle. Piece of cake. Anybody can do that. Alright, that takes care of that one. This one's already in. You know, you can put this thing together without even looking at the instructions. They give you an instruction sheet. But you know, real men don't need instructions. Who reads instructions? There's an old saying among the guys, you know, when all else fails, then you read the instructions. Well, that's it. The wheels are on. A couple of bolts with a nut and lock washer they supply. You know what, 3.5 minutes to put them both on. Last thing to put on is the air filter. Now this filter cap does come off and it is disposable. Come on, camera. Let me show a little light here. See that filter? You can see down there, it's a little paper filter. Just goes in a hole here. You know, if I'd have read the instructions, I'd have gotten confused. Just stick it on in there like so. I think I'll just hand tighten it. I was going to go ahead and put the wrench on it, but that looks like it's pretty tight squeeze there. I guess I'd have to take off this right here. Yeah, to get to it. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to hand tighten that baby up and let her go. If I was able to do it, it takes a 21 millimeter for that nut down inside there. I'm not going to do that. Alright, we are all done. And I'll tell you what, it's so cold out here, my old nose is just running. It's running faster than I can lick it off. So what I'm going to do is head on in the house and I'm going to watch movies all afternoon. I'm taking a break, guys. I'm going to watch movies all afternoon. Don't care. Haven't done that for a long time, and it's going to happen. The last video I put up was a Mish-Mash video. I think it was number 256. For those of you who don't follow my videos, you may have just popped in. I do two basic kinds of videos: automotive repair and on a refurbishment of a '66 Thunderbird that I'm working on right now. But that series is ongoing. And I also do what's called Mish-Mash videos, and that's just whatever I happen to have laying around the house gets put into the video, sort of a YouTube stew, I always call it, I think. Anyway, in the last Mish-Mash video I showed, we also throw a few radios in there too, which is what I used to do before working on the Thunderbird. There's plenty of repairmen out there now and restoration experts that are far better than I ever was, so I'm just sort of leaving that to them. But I piddle around. I have a lot of leftover radios, and one of the radios I showed in the last Mish-Mash video, I think it was Mish-Mash 256 if I'm not mistaken, this one here would not tune in on the lower end of the band. It would just whistle and do all kind of weird things, unless it was a very strong station. Well, I kept trying to get WSM 650 AM out of Nashville, and it just wouldn't work. I could not get it in. All the other radios I have that I've been working on at least would bring the station in partially. Well, here's what we have now.
Thank you so much. You did a good job singing too. Good job singing. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, we have 650 AM coming in nice and strong now. And I don't owe it to me. I owe it to one of our good subscribers. The good subscriber is Tim, AM station engineer. Now, I don't know whether he was talking about the white zenith. I was having trouble getting to the oscillator to bring it in to the right frequency, or he was talking about the lower end of this radio here not bringing in any of the stations unless they were boomers. But he said, take out the oscillator trimmer cap, mica, which is underneath these screws over here. He said, take out the mica and give it a good cleaning, give it a polish, and just be real careful with it. Might solve the whole problem. Well, you know, I got thinking about that. I said, you know, he's right. I haven't done that. I have not messed with that mica, and at least I couldn't remember if I had messed with that mica. So I said, you know, I'm going to go ahead and take it out. I'll take it out both out of the antenna trimmer and out of the oscillator trimmer, and we'll clean it all up, put it back in, see what happens. Well, when I took that mica out of there, I don't know what it was. It looked to me like somebody had smeared grease on it on both sides of that little tiny piece of mica. Brown grease. I said, I can't believe this. So I sprayed it all out, was real careful with the mica, cleaned it all off, sprayed the mica, sprayed down in the plates, put the screw back in on both of them, and as soon as I did that, bingo, I was able to just tune the whole radio right in. So Tim, thanks a lot for, you know, bringing that to my attention. I guess it was one of those things I had forgot to do or hadn't thought about it. I mean, I've taken that mica out of radios, out of trimmer caps a million times. I just can't remember whether or not I did it to this one or not. But anyway, someone had put some, I don't know why they put that grease down in there. It looked just, it was a grease. It was a kind of a gooey grease. And maybe they tried to, maybe they thought they were insulating it better or something. I don't know, because grease is an insulator. But it was messing things up. It was causing bleed over from one side of the plate to the other. Anyway, that's what we have now. Pretty cool, huh?
Just all
you treat me cruel. You hurt me.
This is coming from my transmitter in the other room. Casey, I should have probably mentioned it, but this is my small repair bench I had to move into the house from out in the shop in the garage. I mentioned it a while back. I picked up a little table for 20 bucks at a flea market, just the right size, you know. And it enables me to put a few things. I got a couple of things on the floor down here, my tube tester and solder extractor, and I think my signal generator's down there. But it gives me enough room to do what I need to do. And this is music from the 50s that's being transmitted.
Stupid Cupid, you're a real mean guy. I'd like to clip your wings so you can fly.
I'll tell you what, if you haven't built a transmitter yet, you need to do it. This is an AM transmitter I'm talking about. I built mine years ago.
Stupid Cupid, stop picking on me.
We're down to 3 radios, and this is one of them. This radio here belonged to a lady at a flea market. She owned a flea market, and she had this radio had come in. She bought it from somebody. And I happened to be in there that day, and I knew the lady well. I worked with her for 20 years or whatever from where I retired. The flea market was a business she and her husband owned on the side, you know. And I got talking to her about radios and everything. That's a pretty nice little radio. I said, yeah, it's got a few problems. And she said, you know, in the course of our discussion, she found out that I kind of piddle around with him, fix him up. She said, well, my dad has a radio. Would you mind taking a look at it? He had it when he was a kid, or right after he first met my mom, I guess. And she said, well, I'd love to get that thing back to shape for him and give it to him as a gift for like Christmas or something. He'd never expect it. And she said, I've kept it all these years. So I said, okay, you know, let me see what you got. Well, she dropped the radio off where I was working, and I shined it all up with, you know, McGuire's plastics, and I went through the entire radio. They lived on dirt road. It was just crammed with dirt. I asked her afterwards, I said, Did your dad and mom live on a dirt road? She said, oh yeah, this road out here is where they lived. And right here on this road, she says, before they paved it, it was just nothing but mud, muck, and everything. I said, well, that radio was just full of dirt. She said, yeah, I would imagine. Anyway, I got it all clean, got it functional, worked fine, worked perfectly. I took it back to her, and she wanted to pay me, and I said, no. I'll tell you what you do. Don't pay me. Give me this radio instead, and we'll call it even. So she said, okay, there it is. So that's how I obtained this one. She said her dad, I guess, is fairly old. When she took that radio to him, or back to him, and turned it on to start playing. It looked really beautiful. It was a nice radio. She said he actually started crying. And that kind of made me feel good and made me feel bad all at the same time. You know, maybe I shouldn't have done that, poor fella. But she said he was so happy to have his original little AM radio back. And she said it was just wonderful. Let me see here. This is a model G516. The rider's information on Nostalgia here said it's pre-1951. The Radio Museum website said it's 1950. It's a 5-tube AM radio with a clock. And it has a few problems. You know, you can see up here. Let's see if I can focus it. It's got a lot of flea bites, what we call flea bites. I'm not really certain how to fix that. I've never had a radio like this. I always, did wooden radios almost exclusively. I'm not really certain how to fix that flea mark. And I'll take some suggestions on that, guys. What do I do about that? It's a painted brown radio is what it was. This is not blue. It is green. Well, here's the back. And as you can see, the back is all torn up on it. Now, I can get a reproduction back on eBay for this. They want $31 total. Yeah, right. $31 for this. Not going to happen, guys. There's got to be a different way to do that. The way this thing was held on was these push pins that push in the back. You know, there's split push pins. A little flat head on the top. You just ran it through the backing board and right into the hole. I think what I can do on this is, instead of using this, I think I'll use some screws with washers. One of these are missing anyway. So, and of course you can see the corners are all busted off. So down here it's busted off. People taking it in and taking it out, and then they had a tab right here, over here, similar to that, I guess. Anyway, taking it off and putting it back. They've broken all the pieces over the years. And you'll see that the clock, this thing has been in and out several times. You can see that the, let me get a flashlight here. I'm going to get a better lamp on this table, I swear. See, they even got electrical tape holding it together. Try to avoid using electrical tape, guys. Avoid it at all costs. It sucks, okay? It's a sign of, I don't know, amateur stuff. Don't do that. Use electric, little tiny plugs you can buy. You can plug them together, whatever, or solder them together and heat shrink them, whatever. Just don't use a bunch of electrical tape. It just looks really bad. And I'm not so sure it's all that safe. Might work forever. You never know. Okay, let's plug her in and see what she does. You all know what that sound is. We need some electrolytic capacitors. Let's turn the volume up. Well, at least the tune's in the station. How about that? We're home free now. For those of you who understand Spanish. Okay, what that there is Motown Radio, 88 AM and 92.5 FM in this area. Alright, we're home free on that one. Let me go ahead and tear it apart and see if I can't get the hum out of it. And we'll come back and show you when it's done, if it's still working. The dishwasher thermostat came in, and I went ahead and installed it. Now watch what's happening. I hit it twice, the light lights up, then it lights up high heat, then normal, and then all of a sudden it starts doing this. Every single time. I've checked the water's coming in. Most people would say, well, I'm just not sure what the problem is. I'm unsure. I haven't the foggiest idea. I've seen this problem, well, not a problem, but I've seen these lights do this before when the door was not entirely closed. They would start blinking. You'd hit the buttons and then they would start blinking because the door wasn't shut. So I decided to go ahead and take out the, this is the switch that fits into the door thing right there. And it, there's a plug that plugs in there, which is this funny looking thing down here. So maybe it's not making contact, I don't know. I just took one of my meter probes and ran across between a nice fit there, just across the two points in there. Now let's see what happens. Yes. Yeah. Look at there. It's letting water in. There's the problem. There is the problem. This switch right here is bad. Yes, it's bad. It's a bad switch. Bad switch. Bad boy. Bad boy. Now you watch. I'll probably have to buy the entire mechanism. I'm going to try to spray and clean it out first. Alright, we're good to go on that. Of course, that doesn't mean the heating element's still working though. She is plugged back up. Let's see what happens now. Come on, baby, work. Nope. Switch is bad. Nothing I can do about that. Okay, at least we now know what the problem is. And as you can see, we have blinking lights everywhere. My old modem is not receiving an internet signal. The reason being is the internet signal's not there. Another county a ways away has had a failure of some kind, probably an accident where a guy hit a telephone pole, wiped out the pole and the electricity and everything else that goes with it. So it's been out since yesterday. Fun and games in Arkansas. Let's get back to our air compressors. I told you I'd give you a very clear example on how to hook these two air compressors together. Now keep in mind, this is not the only way. This is the way I wanted, the way that would be quick, easy, and cheap. And I could easily change it without a whole lot of effort. Now you can take one of these like this and, you know, run a pipe out to the wall and then anchor it to the wall and run it all the way down and hook it into this one and then come off of this one or this one with your air hose. You know, I didn't want that. I wanted these two to be mobile. I want to be able to move them around until I actually finally, you know, determine what I want to do. Quick, cheap, and easy was the whole key. Let's look at the first part. Now, what I need to do, I have a female connector right here, okay? And get on down. This is the big one. I have a female connector here where normally a hose would hook in, you know, a male fitting would fit into there and then run out to your spray gun or your tool or whatever. And then down here I have the same thing on the old one, on the 8-gallon one. I have a female fitting right there also. So let's hook the two together. This is the hose I have been using to hook into the female, and then down there's the female fitting there that ran to the you know, to the air nozzle that filled my tires and whatever. So let's hook in this one first. Okay, that's in there. The next thing we need to do is we need a male fitting for here also, which is what this is. These are all 1/4 inch. Everything is 1/4 inch. If I can get this thing to go back. There we go. No, come on. There we go. Okay, that's in there. The next thing is a brass T. Now this is these are again 1/4 inch. Everything you see here will be 1/4 inch, and we'll screw that on there. Now you could use, you don't need to use brass. I chose brass. You can take 2 pieces of pipe with a T. Doesn't matter. 1/4 inch pipe. I figured this might be nice and easy. We'll go ahead and do it like that. And I'll be using Teflon tape now to put this together. I'm not going to be screwing bare metal to bare metal. The next thing I wanted was there's no room here to get the hose by it. You know, it would wind up knocking against this, so I wanted an elbow, a 1/4 inch elbow. Bring it around like so. All right. And since I had one elbow, why not go with the second one? So I went ahead and went with the second one, like so. Now this thing will swivel, which is kind of nice, but the hose won't be able to quite swivel that way, so I wanted plenty of flexibility here, and it didn't cost but a few cents. You know, okay, now there's that and that. And then we go ahead and add our last 2 pieces. We'll go ahead and put a male here in this one. And again, like I said, these will all be tightened up with Teflon tape. But when I'm done, it will swivel, and that's what I want. I don't want anything that'll possibly break off here. So, you know, if there's any tension or any pulling on the hose, or come on, get in there now. It's just my luck I got a fitting that won't fit. What is going on here? Come on, get in there. Okay, there we go. Alright, so that's all we got. See, nothing to it. Now this one right here in the rear is where it, right now that's what I've got it. I like this swivel action, I really do. This will go to the hose that runs over to our smaller compressor. And then this is the hose, the 20-footer that I had purchased a couple months ago, I guess. This one will go over here like so. So now I've got the two hoses coming out, and the other end of it will, of course, go to the tool right here that I plan to use. Okay? Nothing to it. It's a little T-fitting that swivels back and forth, and I don't have to worry too much about breaking anything off over here, which is the last thing I wanted to do. Because this whole setup right here, this is not what I call really, really strong connection right here. It would break back here, not over here so much, okay? And I don't know, I might even wind up anchoring like this hose right here, somehow anchoring it down here or making it tighter. I really don't want a lot of strain on this at all. So that's all there is to it. Anybody can do that. I could have come out here with another, I could have put a junction here and then come out here with another, T, or another elbow rather, this way, and going out straight this way. It doesn't matter. I may wind up doing that before it's over. I may make a few alterations, but basically all you need was the T, okay? Just like that. Like I said, that's how I do it. Now, as far as the pop-off valve goes, I was going to put a pop-off valve, you'll remember, because this is 150 CFM, or 150 PSI tank, this is 135. I talked to the guy at the hardware store, and he said, and he's an old air compressor guy. He said, don't worry about it. He said, you've got a pop-off valve here, and you got a pop-off valve here. Putting it there would be redundant and a waste of money. He said, they'll take care of your pressure. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 2 more days of winter left. This is Tuesday. Wednesday and Thursday are going to be cold, and then from then the temperatures go screaming skyward. Matter of fact, Saturday the temperature is supposed to be 72 degrees. We can soon get back to the Thunderbird. In our last Mish-Mash video, I went ahead and put this barrel on, to those of you who remember it. Put this barrel over a stump. The idea was to burn out the stump with all kinds of wood I had laying around the yard and anything that would burn. Saw how to do it on the internet, thought I'd give it a try. And it got down to where everything was burned down, but it was still nice and warm when I put my hand around the bottom. Well, that night it rained again, of course, Anyway, the fire is completely out now, at least I think it is. What we're going to do, let me get my hoe here. What we're going to do is we're going to see, did the stump burn or did it not? So let's find out. Well, so far so good. I don't see any stump yet. Oops, catching on something. Let us find out what we got here. Looks like it didn't work. Looks like I got a bunch of charcoal though. Oh yeah, that's not too bad. Is there any heat coming off of that? Well, there sure is. I'll be darned. It was warm all the way to the bottom. So it's turned into charcoal. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. The stump is pretty much gone. I'll go ahead and take this stuff here and put it back up there and let her burn a little longer. Then I'll take the barrel and set over the top of it. So that's what we have so far. Well, that's it for now, for a second time on that dumb old stump. It's freezing out here right now. My hands are like ice. I'll just leave it covered up. We'll take another look at it in the next Mish-Mash video, or maybe the Thunderbird video. I don't know. We'll see. I just want to get in the house where it's warm. Until next time, this is John.
And the never-ending video continues.
Well, the dishwasher's running again. I had to buy a new latch mechanism for it. She seems to be working fine. Now let's see if it'll go all the way through and actually fire up the heating element and dry the dishes. But our internet is still down. I found out from a lady I called today. What happened was they were doing an upgrade of the system in the town just above us when they got notified that in another county someone had run into a telephone pole or two, smashed everything all to pieces, so they had to leave the upgrade, go to that county and work with the electrical people to get everything put back together. I figured it was a electrical pole problem. Anyway, they've got that apparently all fixed, and now they're heading back, or they're actually back trying to work on the actual upgrade, so hopefully it won't be too much longer. Final update on the old dishwasher. After I put everything back together, the door latch, and got it all functioning again, the heating element still did not work. I traced the wiring back all the way up to the control panel. I said, aha. Swapped out the control panel. Works perfectly now. All done. Dishes are drying. End of story on that. Our internet was down for almost 8 days. I couldn't make a comment. I couldn't even get on. Couldn't do anything. I don't know what the deal was. Every time you called up Media 3 South, the poor folks answering the phone, apparently they never tell them anything, because each one gave me a different reason why the internet was down. It's incredible. So wifey just said, I'm gonna help these people out. They need my help. And I said, well, why don't you do that? She said, okay, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So she picked up the phone and she called DirecTV and AT&T. We now have no more cable. The cable is gone. We have DirecTV. Oh, what a difference. Oh my God, it's like unbelievable picture difference. We got almost 3 times the number of channels for less money. And on Monday, our internet is back up and operational for now, but on Monday, which is tomorrow, they're going to come and install our fiber optic high-speed internet. So hopefully all of our problems will then be solved. So wifey did a great job of helping out Media 3 South. It's just horrible. Horrible. We should have got off a cable years ago.